The Rebbe's asked if it's possible to explain the inverse relationship between the direct light and the returning light. Why is a partsuf, whose characteristic is refined, working on a coarse aspect? The Rebbe says you're asking why. Because it wants to be pleasing to God. That's the reason. This means, for example, the Zohar brings that Moshe Rabbeinu asked to attach the Erev Rav to Israel because he thought that could fix them. The point is that a person that wants to be pleasing to God always needs to look to where there is to do work, new work. Like it says in the Midrash, Tzadikim don't have rest, not in this world and not in the world to come. Tzaddik, the righteous person, and rest are opposite concepts. They're two contradicting concepts. Righteous person and rest doesn't go together. Why? Because the tzaddik always wants to be pleasing to God. Why does tzaddik always want to be pleasing to God? Why isn't the tzaddik at rest? Why is the tzaddik always in this type of anxiousness? Because tzaddik is aware of the exaltedness of God. So it's important that tzaddik shining on the tzaddik to fulfill the will of God. The tzaddik feels themselves obligated. So the tzaddik is always looking for new work to do. And what's harder is of higher quality. So a person is looking only for putting in their card to be fulfilled with what they're obligated. The person simply does the work. Fine, I did it. But a person who it's really shining to them the exaltedness of God, the person's always looking for new work. It's never resting. Never resting. And the Baal Sulam brings us as a characteristic of the other side. A person who lets themselves rest is the Sitra Achra. As the poet says, when I remember God, I'm not able to sleep. This means that a person who's remembering God is not able to sleep. A person who can't sleep means that they're holy. All the time the person is anxious how to be in divine service. But someone who can sleep quietly and is looking also for how to sleep, so that's not a good sign. It means the true tzaddikim, the true righteous people, are types that are always anxious. No Ritalin will calm them down. As it says in the Midrash, that the tzaddikim, the righteous ones, have no rest in this world and the world to come. So the Baal Sulam brings this. If a person's looking for rest, so then it's a sign that the Sitra Achra, the desire to receive, is ruling on the person. The Rebbe's asked that it seems that in Adam Kadmon, there is no free will. If so, how can we speak about deflecting and receiving? For example, when we talk about the 10% and the 90%. The Rebbe answers that all of the Adam Kadmon that we're talking about is the aspect of Keter. Keter is the aspect of God's desire to give goodness to creation. This whole realm of Adam Kadmon is the aspect of God's thought, meaning that within this thought of God, there are the 5 levels of coarseness, and these 5 types of work to be done on them, and so on. Everything that we learned about is on the realm of thought. Afterwards, in the world of Atzilut, it's already more coarse, Chokhmah. In terms of the example, this is like the drawing plans, planning everything on paper. It's already more coarse. So everything that we're learning in Atzilut is on the paper. Afterward, the realms of Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya, descending more and more to actual work with free will. The Rebbe is asked about drawing number 10 in the right column at the end. There appears the worlds of Abia, Atzilut, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya, and the point of Olam Hazeh, the point of this world. Are these also included in the world of Adam Kadmon? The Rebbe answers no. It just wants to show us the proportion, that we have Adam Kadmon, and underneath we have Atzilut, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya. And in each of them we also have 5 Partsufim. Also in this world, Olam Hazeh, we learned that there's 5 aspects. Which 5 aspects are in this world? In materiality, in physicality, there's 5 aspects. The lowest aspect is a person that wants to rest, only to rest. Doesn't want to work, not in materiality, not in spirituality. Just a cup of tea and a slice of bread. Also on Shabbat, it's enough for them. It's not worth any effort. The second level, a little higher, is yearning for animal pleasures. Third level is desiring human pleasures. The fourth level, higher, is yearning for intellect. Already there, the pleasure is greater desire. And the fifth level is the largest desire to receive. When I remember God, I'm not able to sleep. Yearning for God. That's the yearning. Wants connection with the creator of the world. Not honor, not food. The person wants God. So also in this world, there's 5 levels. The Rebbe is asked, why does the created being merit to reward? We're talking in the Partsuf of Galgalta. We're turning light to the level of Keter, which is in the head, in the aspect of planning, and not in the body itself. The Rebbe answers, because it also draws down to the body. At first, the returning light is going up and clothing the 10 Sfirot to the level of Keter, in the aspect of planning. Decides to receive from every Sfira 10%, and afterwards this is put into action. And also is put into action everything that was in the head, in the planning, is put into action in the body and in the end. The Rebbe is asked if the Partsuf Ab is also called the Ayin Bet Shemot, the 72 names. The Rebbe says that the 72 names is already another concept. It's connected, but it's a different concept. It appears in the Zohar Kadosh in the Parshat of Beshalach. There's 3 verses. One starts Vayisa Malach Elokim. There's a verse Vayavo, and a verse that starts Vayet. And each of these verses has 72 letters in them. And they become combined in the aspect of Tikkun Kavim, the setting of the lines, right, left, and center. We'll learn about this as we go on. The Rebbe is asked why in the Galgalta of Adam Kadmon there's no Shem Havaya, no 4 letters of the divine name. The Rebbe says there is Shem Havaya there. It's not that it isn't there. There is, but a simple Shem Havaya, meaning only the 4 letters. Yud and He and Vav and He. And that's the delineation of Galgalta. But all the other 4 Partsufim, there's the Shem Havaya being expanded, meaning already 10 letters, not 4. Meaning we fill the letters. Yud, we write Yud Vav Daled. He is He Yud. Vav is Vav Yud Vav. And the last He is again He and Yud. If we add up, it's 72. So it's not that in Galgalta there isn't Shem Havaya. There is Shem Havaya. But it's Shem Havaya without being expanded, being filled. Just the 4 simple letters. Yud and He and Vav and He. What's the difference? The difference is like this. Since in a relative way, the Partsuf of Galgalta is the Keter. Keter of the world of Keter. So it's associated with God's desire to give goodness to creation. Very, very high. Very refined from it, the aspect of its characteristic. Therefore, it's uncomprehensible. And when we want to allude to something that's uncomprehendable, ungraspable, so we hint to it in this way. The 4 simple letters, without expansion, fullness. What does it mean, the fullness, the expansion? The fullness means grasping, comprehending. There's a Shem Havayah that's filled with Yud, Shem Havayah that's filled with Aleph. There's a Shem Havayah filled with Hays, which means that the created being is able to comprehend, is grasping, is experiencing. When we say that the Havayah is filled, we mean that the vessels of the lower one are filled with experience. This is the hint. But is not so the first partsuf, which is the aspect of Keter. It's ungraspable. And if it's ungraspable, it has no milui, it has no filling. The light can't be grasped because it's too high. We have only 4 letters in the divine name, Yud and He and Vav and He. The 5th level that has no light. This is the tip of the Yud. So in a relative way, all the realm of Adam Kadmon and all of its 5 partsufim are tip of the Yud. Relative to what? To the other realms. Atzilut is the Yud, Bria is the upper He, Yitzirah is the Vav, and Asiyah is the final He. And underneath, we have this world, Olam Hazeh. So of all the realms in a general way, Adam Kadmon is the tip of the Yud. If we take in a particular way the 5 partsufim of Adam Kadmon, so partsuf of Galgalta is the tip of the Yud. And the rest of the partsufim, Av, Sagma, and Ban, they are Yud and He and Vav and He, of the realm of Adam Kadmon, and therefore they have fullness, expansions, because it's able to grasp them. Another question, if all the realms reach this world, Olam Hazeh, the answer is, if you're talking about all the realms, no. Not all the realms reach this world. Only 2. 2 realms only. The realm of Adam Kadmon reaches this world, and the realm of Asiyah. Why? The world of Asiyah that it reaches this world is simple, because it's the lowest, so it's connected to this world. But the world of Adam Kadmon, which is relatively the planning, the thought of God, the thought contains everything. Like a person who plans to build a house. So the person thinks they're standing on the ground and thinking thoughts. Here will be the kitchen, here will be the salon, here will be a room for the children, here will be the bathroom. So even on the bathroom, the person's thinking. And also when it's sent afterwards to the engineer to draw, also draws this and that, also draws the bathroom. So what am I trying to say? That Adam Kadmon draws forth to this world because it's planning, and the planning includes everything. The Rebbe's asked if we can say that when the partsufim come out in the realm of Adam Kadmon, that from the realm of Galgalta to the realm of Ban, if the surrounding light increases. The Rebbe says this is a deep question. Why is it a deep question? Simple. If I look on the type of light, so in Galgalta there's the light of Yechida, and in Ab only the light of Chaya. So in Galgalta there's inner light and surrounding light from Yechida. In Ab there's inner light and surrounding light of Chaya. In Ban there's inner light and surrounding light of Nefesh. So therefore, according to the type of light, the surrounding light of Galgalta is the highest, the light of Yechida. And the surrounding light of Ban is the smallest. It's only the level of Nefesh. But if I look a different way, I look on the work, not the type of light. So if I look on the work, the biggest work is done in Galgalta. And from there the work lessens. So if the work lessens, the meaning is that the created being will be able to experience less light in quantity and quality. So the surrounding light will be bigger. Precious ones, we need to become used to that there's 70 faces to the Torah. What does it mean, 70 faces to the Torah? It's like a crystal that's sparkling with 70 sparkles. And each of the 70 sparkles, they complement one another. So only here in drawings 11 and 12, we're displaying the exact same thing, the 5 partsufim of Adam Kadmon from 2 perspectives that are completely opposite. One is going down and one is a progression going up. Just depends what we're looking at. The point is that everything has different ways of looking at it. So therefore it depends what perspective we're looking from. It's like this in materiality. It's how much even more so in spirituality. When we're speaking about what? The algebra of soul states, which of course there's different ways of looking at it. You have to get used to this, not to become confused. It means we need to learn quietly and peacefully. And from experience I can say that even if we don't understand the first time, and even if it seems complicated, it's not like this. We simply need to go over the matters many times. And each time it becomes a little more clear. The being persistent is very important here. There's the being persistent from the other side, from the desire to receive. And there's the persistence of holiness. This persistence is a very important trait. In my opinion, very important. More important than talent. Or we could say in more simple words, the desire is more important than the talent. Because when a person has a big desire, even if they have a small talent, then the person will, God willing, succeed. But a person who has a big talent, but a small desire, then it goes to waste. There are more questions. How does a tzaddik, a righteous person, be pleasing to God in Olam Haba, in the world to come? Because the tzaddik is not able to do Torah and mitzvot. The question is based on the midrash that we learned. The tzaddikim have no rest, either in this world or the world to come. On this, the question is based. The answer is that everything is speaking about within our lifetimes, not after. This world is within our lives. The world to come is a spiritual level we need to reach within our lives. Latid level, the future to come, this term is also to be attained within our lives. And also Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden, we need to attain within our lives. And if we don't have luck, also Gehenom, hell, we also need to attain in our lives. And also the coming of the Mashiach, it's also in this world, and the resurrection is also in this world. We need to make enough time in our lives to attain all of these things before our body is lowered into the pit. Before. After our body is put in the pit, then there's another stage already. And of that we're not talking about. Everything we're talking about here, all this algebra of soul states, everything we're talking about spiritual states, it's all here within our lives. Here we need to attain this. The Rebbe's asked, if the fullness of the divine name doesn't hint to oviyut, to coarseness, the Rebbe says it hints to an attainment and a grasping, an experience that the created being experiences on that level. How can we experience? Through our spiritual work. The Rebbe's asked if the empty vessels underneath the Masach on the different levels, asking from drawing number 12, if these empty vessels underneath the Masach on the different levels, if they become filled with light through a person's spiritual work, or at Gamar Tikkun, at the time of the final rectification. The Rebbe says both of these are correct. They also fill up by our spiritual work, and also they'll be finished to become filled at Gamar Tikkun. Are there other questions? The Rebbe's asked if the Masach deflects and does the work. It reflects the fourth aspect of coarseness. So then why does it say in number 28 that afterwards it does work on the third aspect of coarseness? The Rebbe says it's an excellent question. Everybody needs to ask the question. It means that this student isn't just taking things for granted. In 27 it's talking about Partzuf Galgalta. That's doing the work on the fourth aspect. In 28 it says there's a second Partzuf that's making work on the third aspect. So he's asking if the created being can do work on the fourth aspect, so why does he go down now to a lesser work of the third aspect? What happened? Should stay on the fourth aspect. In other words, what causes the Partzuf number 2 to be doing work only on the third aspect. If it's able to do work on the fourth aspect in the first Partsuf, so why should it pass now to only being able to do work on the third aspect? It should stay in Partsuf number 1. The Rebbe says this we'll learn in the next chapter. The Rebbe's asked, it says in Masechet Chagiga that the distance between the Chayot, type of angels, is 500 years. That's what it says in the Gemara. The Rebbe says that Shana, year, is in Gematria, numerical equivalent, Sfira. And what is Shana, year? 355. And how much is Sfira? 280, 290, another 6, another 60, 355. So Shana is Gematria Sfira. Something new. Shana is Gematria Sfira. And a year is the Gematria of a Sfira. So the Gemara is saying that between the limbs of the Chayot, the holy Chayot, is 500 years. So if Shana is Gematria Sfira, if the intention is that there's the 5 Partsufim, the Rebbe says yes, the intention is the 5 Partsufim. There's a lot of numbers also in the Torah and in the Zohar, lots of numbers. Numbers are alluding to spiritual levels. What we're learning here, the more that we, God willing, progress in this learning, we'll understand more than numbers. Lots of numbers. And we understand that the Torah is not a protocol, also not the Zohar and not the Mishnayot. It's all alluding to spiritual levels. Let's look at 29. Here it becomes clear, the way of coming out. The Baal Salam is now summarizing everything. Can explain now the way that it comes out. The 5 Partsufim of Adam Kadmon that are called Galgalta Av Sag Man Ban, one underneath the other. That each lower one is missing the upper aspect of the one above it. Because Partsuf Av is lacking the light of Yechida. Partsuf Sag is also lacking the light of Chaya that the level Ab has, that is above it. Partsuf Man Ban are also lacking the light of Neshama that there is in Sag above it. And what is the reason for this? Why is each one lacking the light of the level above it? Because it depends on the measure of coarseness that the Masach is able to make, a Masacha, like we explained. Now the Baal Salam is asking the question that was asked before by the student. Now we need to understand who and what caused that the Masach will decrease from aspect to aspect in its coarseness until it's divided into 5 levels. So the Baal Salam is asking the question that the student asked. If you can make the spiritual work on the 4th aspect, so why do we pass on to make work only on the 3rd aspect? We should stay with the big work, with the big returning light, and the high level of experience. And this the Baal Salam wants to explain in the next chapter. What's the next chapter called? The refinement of the Masach for the coming out of the Partsuf. This means that in order for a new Partsuf to come out, the Masach of the upper Partsuf needs to become refined. And this we need to understand. If in Galgalta there's a Masach on Daled, on 4, so now in Ab, the Masach becomes refined. The created being in Ab only makes a Masach on Gimel, on 3. It's like everything became more refined. When we say refined in this case, it means it has less ability. And this he wants to explain. So what to do today? It's Lag BaOmer, the day of the passing of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So we'll celebrate together. Yes, each one of us in our homes. Together, connect together. We can prepare a meal, everyone in their home. We can prepare a festive meal. And instead of lighting a bonfire, which is forbidden to us now, we can light candles, prepare wine, and meet together, God willing, at 8:15. Speak about the Idra Zutra from the Zohar, and explain what's written there by the holy people. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and be joyful together on this holy day. This we can say is the birthday of the inner aspects of Torah, Lag BaOmer. And all of Am Yisrael is drawn forth to celebrate. This means that whether people consciously know or not, or want or don't want, the inner aspect of Torah needs to come to everybody. And we need to make effort that this will happen. So prepare the table to celebrate.